Okay, this is welcome to Tasting with Matt and Mike. I'm Mike Veach, and this is Matt Kohorst, my partner in crime. And this is we're doing the Stitzel-Weller Challenge Part 2.
Part 2.
What we're doing is we have got this old bottle of Old Fitzgerald that was bottled and bond spring of 1960 to the fall of 1966. This is what I consider the classic Stitzel-Weller recipe, the flavor profile that everybody loves. This is the whiskey that's selling for thousands of dollars if you find an old dusty bottle of it. Mm-hmm. We're going to go through different whiskeys and see what we think tastes most like that you can buy today. And this week we've got two different challengers. Last week we did Old Rip and the Wilderness Trail Wheated Bourbon.
Right.
This week we're going to do the Maker's 101 because that's the closer in proof to the bottled and bond than the regular Makers. Mm-hmm. And I think it has a little more age than the regular Makers as well.
Okay.
And then I actually realized that the 6-year-old bonded Wilderness Trail that they just came out with is also a wheated bourbon. So you got a 6-year-old bottled and bond versus a 6-year-old bottled and bond. So we thought we would do those this week.
Sounds like fun.
Yes. So let's start with the taking a sample. Remember, we're not drinking all this because we want to be able to go back and compare.
Well, I'm excited because last week we went with the
Wilderness Trail.
So which I'm a big fan.
Yes. So this has got that excellent nose. Mm-hmm. Well, like we said, it was a lot of apple and caramel and a little hazelnut, rich vanilla, it's a little leathery.
It's like the perfect fall bourbon.
Yeah. When you taste it, all those flavors just come through so nice. It's well balanced.
Well balanced. I mean,
perfect amount of sweetness with just a little bit. There's a little bit of spice, a little bit of oak.
Yeah, the spice hits me with like that cinnamony, apple cinnamony, kind of a spice.
Like you said, it's like fall.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Fall in a bottle.
Absolutely delicious.
You sip this and you think colored leaves falling on the ground.
Yeah, the leaves turning color, a little bit cooler, jacket weather. Although it's not quite jacket weather right now. Yeah. But yeah, just a delicious bourbon.
So let's try it again with the cranberry, just to refresh our memory there. That really brings out the oak and spice.
Yeah. The finish still, it makes it a little spicier, less cinnamony.
Yeah.
More that leathery kind of finish.
Actually kind of smoky.
I could see, yeah.
Yeah, like you're sitting around the bonfire on a fall day.
Yeah.
So let's try it with a little piece of pecan. That makes that apple almost like a green apple.
Sour.
A little more tartness to it. I wouldn't really say sour, but it's so much as tart.
Yeah. Definitely brings in probably because it's a nut, a more rich caramel.
And a hint of chocolate.
Yeah. Overall, very, very good with neat cranberry and pecan. Alright, so we've got plenty
let's
saved.
cleanse our palate. So, this is the Maker's Mark 101. I picked it because, like I said, it's closer to the proof
Mm-hmm.
of the bottle and bond.
Now we don't know like the mash bill on that.
Well, the mash bill is actually really similar to the Old Fitzgerald because Bill Samuel's dad got his recipe from the Van Winkles and their yeast.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it's a very similar. Now, of course, you change the recipe to meet your own distillery. So, I mean, I'm sure there's some subtle changes and such, but it's really close. And I will tell you this: I've had Maker's Mark from the '60s,
Mm-hmm.
and if we had a bottle of the 90 proof Makers, it'd be right there with this as far as flavor profile.
Okay. Interesting.
Great whiskey. So
It's a beautiful distillery too, Maker's Mark.
yeah, it's got a nice nose, little caramel, and
I mean, it's different.
yeah, it's different than the Old Fitz, but it's similar too. I mean, I'm getting caramel, I'm getting apple. I'm not getting the nuttiness or the leatheriness that you get.
Mm-mm. It's a little more muted.
A little more muted. Yeah.
But I'm getting like a little citrus in there.
A little citrus, I could see that. Whereas this, we were getting
like
that
orange.
green apple,
Yeah.
tart apple with the.
Mm-hmm.
This here, it's
I'm getting like an orangey, like almost an orange zesty.
yeah.
Okay.
So let's taste it.
That hits me with a ton of chocolate, like right on the tongue for me.
Yeah.
Not very fruity. Like
Not
actually.
very fruity.
No.
Not very spicy either.
Not very spicy. Good, but yeah, it's sweet. It's like a dessert almost.
Yeah, you're getting chocolate. You're getting caramel.
Mm-hmm. Which I always like having Makers with chocolate. So I think it, because it kind of tastes a little bit.
Yeah.
For me, it gets that
See,
chocolate.
and I'm
caramel.
getting a little bit of oak on the finish,
A little bit, yeah. But not yet.
but not in the taste.
Shorter finish, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Than the Old Fitz.
Excellent whiskey, but I'm straight as it is. It's not tasting much like it. But let's
Right.
see what the cranberry does for it. Okay, that does bring out a little fruit,
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
and it is like that apple.
It is. Mm-hmm.
And you get more spice too.
Right. So yeah, right there.
I'm getting maybe a cardamom spice, that kind of that citrusy, spicy
Yeah.
cardamom.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, still that citrus, but not as prevalent. Like the nose originally was very citrusy for me. I would say like almost with this, like it's pretty close. As far as these two go with the cran, it tastes very similar.
Yeah.
Cranberry, would you say?
Yeah, you can see the similarities, but you can still. I still see there's quite a bit of difference.
Okay.
You can see that it brings the similarities of this to this come out more with the cranberry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's see what the pecan does for it. Actually, I want to cleanse one.
That to me like brings out a whole lot of leather,
Yeah.
a whole lot of oak. Kills the sweet.
So yeah, whereas the pecan brought chocolate out in the Old Fitz.
Mm-hmm.
This it doesn't. So let's see what side by side they do.
Okay. Thanks.
Do you need a little more?
How I pour this Scotch for.
you know, they're similar, but it's not meeting the, it's not taking that extra step up that you need to get to that. That's my opinion. It's a very good bourbon, the makers, but it's not the Stitzel-Weller flavor profile.
But there's definitely hints there.
Yeah. So we have here is the Wilderness Trail. It's a 6-year-old bottled and bond. I was looking to see if they had the information as to whether it's you know, spring, fall, whatever, but they don't have that here. But still, 6-year-old bottled bond. Both of them are 100 proof. 6-year-old, and we thought the Wilderness Trail,
The 4-year-old, right?
the 4-year-old,
Was closer than the rip.
than the rip.
Now this one they just came out with this year, right? The 6-year-old.
Right. This has only been out for 6 months or so, maybe.
I don't know if can you get this one in the stores, or did?
You know, I don't know if I've seen it. We picked this one up at the distillery.
Yeah, that's where I got mine as well.
But
Alright.
and the nose is, I'm getting that caramel chocolate leather. The one thing I'm not getting on the nose, which I get out of this, is the apple.
Yeah, not getting much fruit at all.
Not much fruit at all. But other than that, the rest of it seems to be pretty close.
It does, yeah.
So let's take a sip. Oh wow.
That's just good.
Yeah. Chocolate, caramel. I'm getting apple in it now.
Yeah.
It's like a ripe apple.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting just a hint of oak and some spice, but the spice is very muted, kind of like allspice maybe.
Even allspice, yeah. And
But
the finish is kind of lighter, but
Yeah.
it lasts. It's still there, but it's not like quite.
It's not
abrupt.
overpowering.
Yeah. So very interesting.
Yeah.
Very good.
So let's see what a cranberry does for this. Oh, that really brings out that apple.
It does.
And it brings
Yeah.
some more spice out too. I'm getting a little bit of not only allspice, but maybe a little cinnamon or maybe ginger.
You can see ginger. Yeah, I was thinking cinnamon too. Yeah. I'm also getting like some kind of floral note in there. It's a little
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, roses.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Couldn't like put my finger on what it is, but yeah, there's definitely a floral note there for me. Yeah.
Try some pecan.
For me, that really reminds me of the Old Fitz
Yeah.
with the
Yeah, it really brings out the chocolate. It brings out that little bit of a kind of a tart apple.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that's as close as you can get when you do it with the pecan. I mean, I think the winner tonight is the 6-year-old Wilderness Trail, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, let's try it side by side just to.
All right.
Oh man, this nose on that Old Fitz, this gets better.
Oh Oh yeah.
I mean, it's almost
Definitely.
like French vanilla.
Yeah. I mean, I'm holding on to this one. I want this one to
Yeah.
sit for a minute for sure. Oh,
And
that's
yeah,
good
and the color is actually pretty close too.
Very close, yeah. Okay, so
Not quite as good as the Old Fitz, but pretty damn close.
pretty close. I'm gonna go ahead and do the nut again and get real quick.
So, what you think?
I think for me, okay, so here's what I would do, or here's what I think. If I'm thinking just neat, boom. If I'm thinking with the fruit, I think these two end up a little closer.
Yeah.
And then the nut, like that's the closest you're getting with like
Right.
these two flavors coming closest. So I would say Wilderness Trail is.
Yeah.
They're making like a 60s.
The 1960s.
1960s Old Fitz, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about as close as you can get
Yeah.
so far.
Mm-hmm.
I think this. I wish I had discovered that this was a wheated bourbon last week.
We would just put it that one right
We
up
would
there.
have just put that one up.
Yeah.
But even at 4-year-old, this is better than the 4-year-old.
And I think it is closer. I
And
think
it's
it actually is
closer.
closer. Yeah. So good stuff. Great stuff.
Right.
Pat Heist over there at Wilderness Trail is doing great work.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of all their products.
You know,
right now.
and it's interesting. They have a barrel entry proof. I think it's like 115.
Mhm.
If they lowered it to 107, how much closer would it be to this?
Yeah. Really, yeah. I mean, it's very close.
Yeah.
So
So
cheers.
cheers.